Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Protesters of rival camps face off outside Yoon Suk-yeol's residence in Seoul as he resists arrest for a third day over martial law bid. China intensifies pressure on Taiwan, sanctions 7 US military companies over arms sales to the island. 3 different incidents of violence give a tragic start to the new year for Americans. Vehicle attacks at New Orleans and Las Vegas, and a mass shooting outside a New York nightclub reported. And India's National Sports Awards announced. D. Gukesh, Harmanpreet Singh, Praveen Kumar and Manu Bhaker to be conferred with the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award 2024. Our first news from South Korea. Supporters and opponents of impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol clashed with police near his residence in Seoul. Yoon remains holed up for a third day in his compound, defying an arrest warrant. Yoon, accused of a failed martial law bid, vowed to fight until the end in a letter to his supporters. Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court continues his impeachment trial with the next hearing scheduled for Friday. South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol told supporters in a letter that he will fight until the end as he faces an attempt by authorities to arrest him over his short-lived imposition of martial law last month. It was unclear when and how police could make the arrest and whether the Presidential Security Service, which has blocked access by investigators with a search warrant to Yoon's office and official residence, would try to stop it. Opponents of Yoon camping outside his presidential residence laid on the ground to impede police on Thursday, while members of his security team have blocked earlier attempted police raids in a dramatic standoff. Meanwhile, South Korea's Constitutional Court held an inauguration ceremony for the 2 new judges, Cho Han-sung and Jung Goy-seon, on Thursday. Both the justices were appointed by acting President Choi Sang-mok on December 31st. Their inauguration on Thursday brings the number of justices to 8. The ceremony was held just a day before the trial on suspended President Yoon's martial law bid. The court is set to decide the fate of both Yoon and Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, who was the first acting president after Yoon's impeachment, on whether to oust them from their positions completely or restore their powers. South Korea's constitution requires 6 of its 9 justices to agree on the ousting of an impeached president. South Korean authorities are intensifying their investigation into the deadly crash of a Jeju air flight. The crash, which claimed the lives of 179 people, is being closely examined, with multiple raids carried out at key locations, including the airline's office and Muan Airport. Meanwhile, Jeju Air CEO has been banned from leaving the country. DD India's Harshita Oberoi reports.
Police conducted sweeping raids at Muan Airport, Jeju Air Seoul office and a regional aviation hub on Thursday morning. These searches are part of a high-stakes investigation into one of South Korea's deadliest air disasters. The cockpit voice recorder, a critical piece of evidence, has been recovered and is being analyzed. Acting President Choi Sang-mok announced at a disaster management meeting that the audio conversion of the recorder's data is expected to be completed by Friday.
해당 기종에 대한 국민들의 우려가 큰 만.
The data extracted from the voice recorder for the accident investigation will be converted into audio by tomorrow. An analysis of the flight recorder is scheduled to begin at the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board with the participation of our investigator.
비행 기록 장치는 우리 조
The flight data recorder, another crucial device, has been shipped to the United States for analysis at the National Transportation Safety Board. Experts from both South Korea and the US, including representatives from Boeing, are working at the crash site in southwestern Muan. Investigators are focusing on several potential causes, including faulty landing gear, a possible bird strike that may have triggered mechanical failure, and lapses in maintenance. The cockpit voice recorder is expected to provide critical insights into the crew's final communications. Meanwhile, officials have pledged full transparency and accountability. Acting President Choi emphasized the urgency of the probe, stating that immediate action would follow if inspections reveal lapses in safety protocols. The catastrophic crash of Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 has claimed 179 lives, plunging the nation into mourning. With so many lives lost, this investigation has become a national priority. The people of South Korea are demanding answers, not only to understand what went wrong, but to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. Harshita Oberoi, DD India.
Asia's New Year 2025 began with escalating tensions in the Taiwan Strait. China, which claims Taiwan as its own, has sanctioned 10 US defense firms over arms sales to the island nation. This marks China's second round of measures against American companies on the issue in less than a week. China's Ministry of Commerce added subsidiaries of Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics and Raytheon to its unreliable entities list for their involvement in arms sales to Taiwan. The listed firms are barred from import-export activities and new investments in China, with senior executives prohibited from entering the country. The self-ruled island remains a major flashpoint in Beijing-Washington relations. Taiwan on Thursday detected 22 Chinese military aircraft, including J-16 fighter jets, carrying out a joint combat readiness patrol around Taiwan in conjunction with the Chinese warships. This is the first combat patrol around the island of the new year. Taiwan's defense ministry said that the Chinese aircraft flew in airspace to the northwest, southwest and east of Taiwan. The incident took place after Taiwan President Lai Ching-te again expressed willingness to talk to Beijing. His repeated calls for talks have been rebuffed. On the other hand, Philippines on Thursday recovered a submarine drone suspected to be from China. This was in waters of the central Philippines. The 6-feet-long drone was discovered by 3 fishermen floating at sea around 9 kilometers off the coast of San Pascual in Masbate province. The police termed it warning of potential national security implications. The yellow drone was marked with HY-119 that refers to a Chinese underwater navigation and communication system. The Philippines and China over the years have clashed for maritime rights in the South China Sea. In the United States, a mass shooting injured at least 10 people on Wednesday evening outside a nightclub in New York's Queens. No deaths have been reported. Police are investigating the incident that occurred near the Amasura nightclub. 4 gunmen opened fire towards a crowd outside a private events club. The New York Police Department has ruled out the possibility of a terrorist attack. The incident came hours after 2 other acts of violence elsewhere in the U.S. on New Year's Day.
January 1st at approximately 11:18 p.m., the NYPD received multiple 911 calls for several people shot in front of an event space located here at 91-12 144th Place. 3 to 4 males then opened fire over 30 times in the direction of the group standing outside the event space, striking multiple victims. Officers responding to the multiple 911 calls found a total of 10 victims. 6 females, 4 males, which were taken to area hospitals. All of the victims are expected to recover with non-life-threatening injuries.
In New Orleans, a man drove deliberately at high speed into a crowd of New York's revelers, killing at least 15 and injuring over 35. The attacker was a US-born Army vet with an Islamic State connection. A report.
At least 15 people were killed and dozens injured when a driver rammed a pickup truck into a crowd during New Year's celebrations in New Orleans early on Wednesday morning. The FBI identified the attacker as Samshuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old US citizen who once served in Afghanistan. He was later killed in a shootout with the police. A flag linked to the Islamic State group was discovered in the vehicle, and the FBI is investigating potential ties Jabbar may have had with terrorist organizations. Investigators suspect he may not have acted alone, as improvised explosive devices were found in the vicinity.
The subject has been identified as 42-year-old Samshuddin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented, and we are working to confirm how the subject became in possession of this vehicle. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations.
US President Joe Biden has condemned the horrific car ramming incident. FBI had discovered videos posted by the driver on social media hours before the attack. In these videos, the driver expressed being inspired by the Islamic State group and voiced a desire to kill.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill, The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, the law enforcement and intelligence community are continuing to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump reignited the debate over immigration and crime following the car ramming incident, blaming Democrats for dismissing his warnings about criminal migration into the U.S. International condemnation poured in for the attack in New Orleans. Messages of condolences poured in from global leaders, including Israeli Foreign Minister, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and others. Bureau Report, TT India.
Further, a Tesla Cybertruck exploded in flames outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on Wednesday, leaving one person dead and injuring 7 others. The FBI is now investigating the incident as a possible act of terrorism.
Cybertruck exploding in flames just outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Amidst the intense smoke that followed, bursting of what seemed like firecrackers can be seen. Though it sent shockwaves across the nation, the investigating agencies have so far ruled out any link with New Orleans' terror attack. Sheriff Kevin McMahill told a news conference that the back of the truck contained gasoline and camping fuel canisters, as well as large firework mortars.
So those are gasoline canisters, they are camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars. What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there.
The one deceased individual was inside the Cybertruck. FBI has indicated that the identity of the suspect has still not been confirmed.
As of right now, our number one goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not.
He stated that the FBI had identified the driver of the vehicle, which was rented in Colorado, but was not prepared to release the driver's identity at this time. The Trump International Hotel is owned by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. The explosion occurred hours after a tragic incident in New Orleans where a man drove a truck into crowds celebrating New Year's Day, killing 15 people. Nancy Baloda, DD India.
Onto the Balkans, where in Montenegro, the death toll in a shooting spree at a restaurant has risen to 12, including 2 children. According to media reports, the suspect had engaged in a brawl at a restaurant and later returned and opened fire, killing multiple people, including the owner of the establishment. The Interior Minister said that the members of the suspect's own family were among the victims, while the suspect died from self-inflicted injuries after attempting suicide. The minister described the incident as the consequence of disturbed interpersonal relations without providing further details. Meanwhile, the government has declared 3 days of national mourning starting today. In a significant development, the Syrian independence flag was raised outside the Saudi Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Riyadh. This follows the arrival of a Syrian delegation led by newly appointed Foreign Minister Asad Hassan al-Shibani for its first official visit abroad since Bashar al-Assad's ousting. The delegation also includes Defence Minister Murhaf Abu Kasra. Upon arriving in the kingdom, the Syrian Foreign Minister expressed hope to open a new bright page in Syrian-Saudi relations that befits the long-sharing history between the two countries. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Bangladesh court in Chittagong denies bail to former ISKCON spiritual leader Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari. Moldova faces an energy crisis as flow of Russian gas ends. And Albania's TikTok ban heats up debate over freedom of speech in the country.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. A court in Bangladesh's Chattogram has denied bail to Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari, a former ISKCON leader, during a hearing held on Thursday. The Chattogram Metropolitan Sessions judge rejected the bail plea after hearing arguments from both sides for around 30 minutes. Chinmoy Das was represented by a team of 11 Supreme Court lawyers. However, despite their efforts, the court's decision went against their plea. On November 25, 2024, the former ISKCON leader was arrested on sedition charges leading to violent protests by his followers, not only in Bangladesh but across the world. Speaking on the rejection of Chinmoy Krishnadas's bail plea, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Veena Sikri, called it a travesty of justice.
Well, I think it's very sad, it's tragic, it's a travesty of justice that Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari has been once again denied bail. And, even the reason for his arrest, they've charged him with a very serious charge of sedition, but there's no evidence that has been given. The interim regime led by Professor Muhammad Yunus, he didn't even talk about the case of Chinmoy Krishnadas, he just spoke about the lawyer who had died. What is happening in Bangladesh today with the minorities is really beyond belief. It really goes beyond any norms in any country or even global norms.
In a major crackdown on illegal immigration, 4 individuals, including 2 Bangladeshi immigrants, were arrested in India's capital, New Delhi. The operation highlights the ongoing efforts by authorities to combat illegal migrant influxes in the capital city. During the search of the house, several items were recovered, including 4 Aadhaar cards, credit and debit cards, PAN cards, 2 bank passbooks, and a copy of a voting card and an Indian passport application form. The illegal immigrants used jungle routes and express trains to enter the Indian territory. The detained individuals are under investigation as part of broader measures to curb unauthorized immigration and strengthen border security.
तो दिसंबर माह में स्पेशल ड्राइव चलाई गई थी कि दिल्ली में इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स जो रह रहे हैं, स्पेशली बांग्लादेशी, उनको चिन्हित किया जाए और उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाए। इस श्रृंखला में हमने 2 मॉड्यूल पहले बस्ट किए थे, एक संगम विहार में जिसमें करीब 5 बांग्लादेशी डिपोर्ट कराए थे, उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की थी, और उसी FIR की फर्दर फॉलोअप में हमने 7 बांग्लादेशी अर्जनगढ़ फतेहपुर बीरी से गिरफ्तार किए थे और उनको डिपोर्ट कराया था। इन दोनों केसेस में जब फर्दर तफ्तीश की गई, टेक्निकल सर्विलेंस और एनालिसिस किया गया, उसी फॉलोअप एक्शन के तहत हमें एक और रैकेट मिला जो बांग्लादेशी इलीगल इमिग्रेंट भारत लाता था और वो यहाँ सेटल कराता था।
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visited Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO's headquarters in New Delhi on Thursday. The minister interacted with senior scientists and officials to mark the 67th foundation day of the organisation. During the meeting, Rajnath Singh commended DRDO for developing the indigenous capabilities of the country and also appreciated the organisation's efforts towards increasing the collaboration with the private sector. Singh also encouraged DRDO to explore the possibility of including startups in its R&D efforts. It's 2025 now, but the Russia-Ukraine conflict still rages on with no end in sight. Russia on Thursday claimed to have struck energy facilities in Ukraine that support Kiev's military-industrial complex. Russia also targeted military airfields and Ukrainian military personnel across multiple regions. Russia regularly reports such strikes, describing recent ones as retaliation for Kiev's use of Western-supplied missiles to strike deep into Russian territory. Europe's gas supply is facing a crisis as the Russia-Ukraine conflict has disrupted the traditional energy routes. The breakaway Moldovan region of Transnistria is without heating after Russian gas supplies were cut, a result of a payment dispute between Moldova and Russia's Gazprom and Ukraine's refusal to extend transit agreements. Russian gas, once crucial, now makes up less than 10% of EU imports, down from over 40% in 2021. The Turk Stream pipeline under the Black Sea and its extension, the Balkan Stream, continue supplying gas to Hungary, Serbia and Bulgaria. The Blue Stream pipeline also delivers gas to southern Europe. The key pipelines like the Nord Stream and the Yamal Europe have been suspended, while countries like Hungary and Slovakia remain heavily reliant on Russian gas. Slovakia's reliance on Russian gas remains strong due to cost, despite it exploring alternative suppliers. The Albanian government's decision to ban popular social media platform TikTok in December 2024 generated debate over the impact of social media on society and the decision's impact on free speech. According to the government, the decision came as part of a broader effort to enhance school safety following the fatal stabbing of a 14-year-old student in November. Meanwhile, free speech activists see the ban over protecting children as an excuse to clamp down on free speech, setting a dangerous precedent for shutting down a popular social media tool ahead of elections. And next we take a look at other stories making news in India today. Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday chaired the 7th pre-budget consultation with the stakeholders in New Delhi. The meeting was also attended by the Finance Secretary and stakeholders from the financial sector and capital markets in connection with the forthcoming Union Budget 2025-26. India's Territorial Army on Wednesday established a new task force dedicated to the rejuvenation and protection of the Gomti River. The initiative not only aims to revitalize the Gomti River, but also underscores the Indian Army's continued contribution to nation building and environmental sustainability. India's Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry on Thursday announced the National Sports Awards 2024. Olympic medalists Manu Bhaker, hockey player Harmanpreet Singh, chess world champion D. Gukesh and para-athlete Praveen Kumar have been named recipients of the prestigious Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award.
Olympic medalist Manu Bhaker, hockey player Harmanpreet Singh, chess world champion D. Gukesh and para-athlete Praveen Kumar will be honoured with the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. Gukesh became the youngest world chess champion in Singapore in December. Bhaker had won 2 bronze medals at the Paris Olympics. Harmanpreet had led India to a bronze medal in men's hockey at the same games. Praveen had won gold in men's high jump T64 discipline at the Paris Paralympics. The Sports Ministry also named 32 athletes for the Arjuna Award, including 17 para-athletes. The list includes Jyoti Yaraji, athletics, Anu Rani, athletics, Neetu, boxing, Sweetie Bora, boxing, Vantiga Agarwal, chess, Salima Tete, hockey, Abhishek, hockey, Sanjay, hockey, Jarmanpreet Singh, hockey, Sukhjeet Singh, hockey, Rakesh Kumar, para-archery, Preeti Pal, para-athletics, Deepti Jivanji, para-athletics, Ajit Singh, para-athletics, Sachin Sarjirao Khiladi, para-athletics, Dharamveer, para-athletics, Pranab Surma, para-athletics, H. Hokata Seema, para-athletics, Simran, para-athletics, Navdeep, para-athletics, Nitesh Kumar, para-badminton, Thulasimiti Murugesan, para-badminton, Nitya Shri Sumati Sivan, para-badminton, Manisha Ramadas, para-badminton, Kapil Parmar, para-judo, Mona Agarwal, para-shooting, Rubina Francis, para-shooting, Swapnil Suresh Kusle, shooting, Sarabjot Singh, shooting, Abhay Singh, squash, Sajan Prakash, swimming, and Aman, wrestling. These athletes not only set benchmarks of excellence but also inspire a new generation to pursue sports with passion and resilience. Their accolades reflect India's robust talent pool and the country's commitment to nurturing sporting excellence through sustained investment and support. Sports Desk, DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.